It is becoming ever more clear to me as I film these videos that I need bifocals. Candle, Feather, Wooden Spoon, there is a story called Two Rocks, a very long legendary love story. And it is the story of a sculptor named May who lives in Sedona, Arizona, and she sculpts out of rock. And she collects rocks from all over the world for her sculpting. And she listens to their vibrations and really is thoughtful about what she produces with them. And she happens to find a rock in England, the windy slopes in England, and she finds another rock in the Arabian desert, and they're both sitting in her studio. And what she doesn't know is that the English rock is the rock that Excalibur was pulled from, and the Arabian rock is the rock that Moses struck with his rod twice. And so the two rocks contemplate each other and speak with each other. I'm going to read an excerpt and then share the questions at the end of the story. The two rocks contemplated each other. The Arabian rock had been brought here first to the studio in Sedona, Arizona. It was a strange world surrounded by red mountains of iron oxide sediment completely foreign to the Arabian rock, and the rock felt alone, an asteroid adrift. But the moment May touched the English rock, even across continents and oceans, the Arabian rock felt it. They were not of the same star, but they shared something deeper than space dust. And now here they were in each other's orbit, dancing. I was filled with purpose, the English rock continued. When the men came and yanked down that sword, I believed they admired me, my power and strength. I believed we shared a glimmer. But they did not care for me at all. They did not think of me. They would blast me to bits if they thought it would release Excalibur. I was a burden, a boulder, a dead thing. They only thought of the penetrating sword, that killing thing. I understand, said the Arabian stone, its frequency quivering. I know better than anyone. I know. I know you do, the English stone pulsed. The night grew dark as the planet rotated on its poles, and beneath them they could sense the slow creeping of the Earth's silicate mantle, its pressure, depth, and heat. The Arabian rock emoted. I had been content in the desert heat. Lizards warmed their tummies upon me. Dew evaporated into manna on my plains every morning. I remember receiving the rumblings that a man was crossing the desert with a mass of people in his wake. This was a man who knew rocks. He had nestled himself in the cleft of a rock to receive visions. His name was Moses, and he called God the Rock. He knew that the rock and the others discarded would one day become the cornerstone of the house of God. He knew how to bring forth honey from a rock and oil from a flinty stone. Moses could even harden a human heart to stone. Yet he did not know the heart of you, the English stone empathized. I waited for him to pass my way. I waited for the prophet whose name meant drawn from the water. I prayed he would choose me, that he would draw forth water from me. I prepared myself to quench this weary people. I realigned my chemistry for him. I changed my nature. What rock in history could do this? The English rock marveled. You, the Arabian rock responded, and they both were still, contemplating billions of years. The English rock emoted. By the time Arthur came to me, I had already learned that they only cared for the sword and not for me. I succumbed to him and was promptly abandoned. For a time I thought he'd return to me, pour water into my wound, planted with fresh earth and a snip of budding vine that butterflies might visit. I had thought he would make something of me, turn me into an altar. Ah, the Arabian rock echoed. Altars. The two rocks oscillated and hummed together until the morning, when May turned her nickel key into the brass lock and returned to the studio. I look forward to you reading the story and to see what May, the sculptor, does with these two extraordinary, soulful rocks. Some of the questions at the end are, why do you think the author brought together a legend from Jewish history and a legend from British history? And then also, geologists think of time in a unique way. While we may think in decades, they think in millions and billions of years, in which our human lives are so brief. How do we reconcile our allotment of years with the long chronology of Earth? In question number 3, in Yehuda Amichai's poem Mayor, he writes, "At night the stones of the hills round about will crawl down toward the stone houses like wolves coming to howl at the dogs who have become men's slaves." Do you think stones and earth have feelings? And finally, May's medium as an artist is stone. What medium do you or would you like to create with, and why? What type of sculpture do you like most? I look forward to hearing your answers, seeing pictures of your sculptures, and hearing your stories. I'd love to talk with you and your community or book groups about this and the other 21 stories in Candle, Feather, Wooden Spoon. I look forward to talking with you and sharing. Thank you.